Black and proud.
Black and proud, light skinned and proud. What's going on with this hat? What's going on with the hat?
Making a statement. Nike made a big statement.
Oh, it is a Nike hat.
There you have it. You know what I mean?
Speak it.
Colin Kaepernick, and I know
There
that
we
you're
go.
going to touch on that. So this was transitory.
So speaking of that, guys out there watching, you can always send us a message. We have our Facebook Live up, so Mag One will be corresponding with you with your comments and questions. So anything you have for us, you have for the guests, let us know. This whole Colin Kaepernick thing, I'm liking it
Why?
because he took a stand. Now, this is why I like it. A lot of people have taken a stand.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we have to look at everybody. But right now, he's relevant. And the thing I like about him is the fact that he gave up something he'd been working for his whole life to be a professional football player, right? But what I think people have to understand is that Kaepernick didn't use the media to get ahead. He was silent in his whole process, where he could have used it to his advantage, got paid off of it. He didn't do that. He moved in silence. And then now it's time for him to come out, and Nike is supporting him. And big ups to the man.
I also believe, though, that Nike is using this platform to gain an audience.
Most definitely.
It's just like a Q rating
on.
for radio, television. You know what your audience is. You do your beta tests. You know where you're going to lose money. You know where you're going to make money.
Yep.
They know where they're going to make money. They're going to gain a huge audience now from this, and this is a big thing. So they use him as a platform, I guess,
Of course.
conduit
Of
in
course.
order for them to exploit this, though. That's the problem I have, because the person should never be bigger than the message.
So, and speaking of that, and Nike knows what they're doing. They were losing sales. Their sales dropped drastically. Adidas kicked it up. Why? They appealed to the urban market.
Absolutely.
Puma, they kicked it up. They appealed to the urban market. They got Jay-Z involved. They got Rihanna involved. And they appealed to us. So that their sales skyrocketed. Even Under Armour, their sales went up. So Nike's sitting back like, hey, what we gonna do? So, we're gonna ride the black train. And y'all can say that. We're gonna ride the black train, and we're going to benefit off Colin Kaepernick in using the urban crowd to boost our sales again.
At the end of the day, it's still big business, and I can understand and appreciate it one way or the other. But as long as Colin does the right thing, what he has been doing to this point,
Right.
to help to continue the message, that's where it's going to be.
That's
the trend. That's where the trend is going to be set, and that's where it eventually will go for the culture, for the community, and then to make the statement and going forward to make a change.
And it's so funny that, how everybody's burning their Nike stuff and things like that. Nike don't give a damn if you burning it.
Not
You done already bought it.
Absolutely.
You burning up, you paid for it already.
You're burning it up so you potentially will buy some more stuff later on
Exactly.
down
And
the
you're
line.
going to buy some.
And you will.
I wear Nike.
And
I
you
do.
will.
I do. But I also wear Symbolic too.
Simeon Henderson
Shameless
Show
plug.
with Magdalene.
So we're going to get this going. But hey, before we go into, I want to say, this is Chicago, guys. Rahm Emanuel has decided not to run for mayor again. Do you think that's because he's getting heat and he's trying to get out of there while he still can?
No, I think he's conceding to what is looking like the obvious. I believe that Pritzker has this thing locked up, and the money is talking. The money is running the show here. Pritzker is a billionaire a few times over, and he is going to use that to basically lodge this election right into a centrifuge and squeeze out all the other outside votes. So everything that he's going to get on the Democratic side, he's already got. But he gets to play both worlds, because this is something reminiscent of how Donald Trump did exactly what he did.
True.
He got to play both worlds. Donald Trump is not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He's neither or. He's a complete moron, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But what he did was he squeezed both parties from both sides. The same people that he screwed on one side, he got the same number of votes on the other side because he was different. And this is what Pritzker's going to do. He's basically going to run a Democratic community on a Democratic platform. However, he's spewing a lot of Republican jargon. If you look at some of his litigating stories, and he's going to try to win the election by running around the parties.
This whole Republican and Democratic thing. Let me tell you something, people. That's some made up stuff. That's a farce. There's no Republican. There's no Democrat. It is what it is. They just, Oh, I'm not going to get into it, but it is what it is. And let's go into entertainment for a quick second before we get our
To
next
piggyback
guest.
though on Rom, I
I
got it
don't wanna
on
talk about
side
it.
note,
What?
because Rom did get me paid. Rom just recently had to release money from funds that were for a class action suit. Remember those red light cameras?
Red light
I know
cameras.
Chi-Town knows those.
Red light
Everybody's
cameras.
got caught on the red light camera. Some were going down somebody's park district. Some were going down some school district. All the red light cameras flashing. But so there was a class action suit. Millions of people that were involved in that. So we just got our funds released from that, and Rom had to have the city turn that money over. So big ups to the city and Rom just for at least.
So he's going to give you kudos because you paid him. I'm not going to ask how much, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm talking about entertainment. Eminem, with his new record, Kamikaze, just came out of nowhere. Like Beyonce just dropped the album overnight. It just came out of nowhere. And he's talking about everybody. And everybody's talking about how crazy Eminem is. Let me tell you something. Eminem is not crazy. You want me to tell you how Eminem's not crazy? Eminem has been doing music for 20 years. And not once in any one of his records has he said the N-word. He ain't crazy.
Well, he said it, but he said it in a different context. It wasn't a reference to it. So I understand what you mean.
You know what
by
I
that.
mean.
The funny part about that is funny. And Eminem, like most elite rap artists, he is that type of guy who can come out with something brand new and extremely controversial, and it's going to sell immediately because he hasn't been in the limelight for a minute, but he's still at that level. He's top tier, and he can come out and produce stuff.
He's a lyricist. He's cold. Mag One, do me a favor and grab that laptop because I know somebody's saying something on Facebook. If you guys have anything to say about Rahm Emanuel or Eminem, I got something to say about Rahm Emanuel. Am I the only one that noticed that he missing a finger? Am I the only one to notice that? Okay, all right.
He was pointing at you.
Okay, I'm just saying. I can't be the only one that's noticed that. I met him when I was working for the TV station, and he gave me a high five, so he owed me one.
Let me get this.
What? All right, everybody. So we gonna get ready to bring our first guest in. We have my man coming in. His name is David Leonard, and he is he's worked in production for years. He used to work in the music business. Now he's acting. He's just booked a role on one of the top shows out right now, and he's doing his thing. He's my man. I've been knowing him for a minute. Please welcome my man, Mr. David Leonard. So first of all, Dave, let's just get this out the way.
Yes.
What size are those kicks?
You know what, brother? These are not your size.
Hey,
What size
I figured that. I figured that. You stay fresh. So, David, man, one thing I love about you, man, I love your drive, and I love your consistency and your persistence. So, talk to us a little bit about how you started in this whole entertainment business. Did it start with acting, or did it start with music?
Funny you asked that because it actually started with acting. I grew up in and around theater. My mom was a very accomplished playwright in Chicago for many years, and she, won many awards and had projects.
And what's her name?
Shirley Hardy Leonard.
Shirley Hardy Leonard.
Yeah, and so I got to grow up and really, be around, actors and watch how stage productions were, put together and travel around with her. And while that spiked my interest, I was always a very shy kid. So she used to take me on auditions when I was a child for McDonald's commercials and Jell-O pudding pop commercials. I'm telling my age. But I would always lease up. And so what I did was she had a theater group called Harvey's Own Teen Theater Group, because I'm from Harvey, Illinois. And we would, do plays at different schools and travel around. So that broke me out of my shell a little bit.
Okay.
But what actually really broke me out of my shell was my love for music. Started getting into hip hop at an early age, and me and a couple of my partners formed a rap group, and that's what really broke me out of my shell. So music was kind of like the first thing that really got me on stage and sort of performing.
So you telling me that you used to rap?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Most
I know a lot about you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot and ask you. I don't want you to hit us with one of those Curtis Blow specials. The grown-ups got some presents too, a new TV and a stereo. How you just gonna try to make something rhyme?
Hey, man,
But it was good back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as you got into the music game, I know you were rapping, but then you decided to get into the business part of it.
Right.
What was that like?
You know, it was awesome, man. It was great years. I really got into the music game like towards the big transition when everything started going from, you know, CDs and cassettes to digital. And so I really wanted to learn the business side, and initially I had an interest in being an A&R. But I got in on the promotion side, and I was a record promoter here with a company called JMA, and then that got me a gig with Interscope Records.
Okay.
And I worked with them for several years, and that was like my dream job. It was like, you know, I wanted to either, you know, be with Def Jam or Interscope Records, and I ended up working with Interscope for many years. I was one of their the rhythm crossover promotional director. So I got to travel throughout the Midwest and a little bit into the South, promoting all of the artists that were big at that time. That was right when 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying had like blown up, and now he was introducing all of the G Unit stuff. So, you know, at the time I got to work with, you know, artists like him and The Game, Keisha Cole, Common, Gwen Stefani, you know, the list goes on and on. So really got to learn the promotion side and the marketing side doing that, which was a blast.
Let me ask you this. What was the one artist that you really, really wanted to meet, and you got to meet them? You were just the one artist that you met, and you were starstruck, for lack of a better word.
Well, you know what? The music artists, I'm trying to think of who on the music side, like really, like I was just like frozen. Well, I'll say on the acting side, although he is a music artist as well, I'm a huge Will Smith fan.
Okay.
And Will was actually on Interscope briefly. He had put out one of his last albums on Interscope, but he didn't do any promo for that album. So I was hoping he was going to travel around so I get a chance to meet him, you know, up close and really spend some time with him. But he didn't do any promotion. But I met him later when I worked on a show for Oprah, and he was a guest. And he was just walking down the hallway, and he saw me standing there. I was just like frozen. He just, you know, nodded, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I was like, "Hey," you know. And I was like, Will is the man. You know what I'm saying?
He is.
I just love his charisma. I think he's an incredible actor, and I've always, you know, looked up to him. And so that was one of the people that I really got like starstruck.
It was because of his talent, not because he's light skinned.
Nah.
And he's even reinvented himself now. That's what's even more eminent about what he does. You know, actor, singer, rapper extraordinaire. But now he's a YouTube sensation because he's made his own YouTube channel that just promotes just random stuff.
And what he's doing.
Definitely.
Mag One, is anybody asking any questions or want to know anything about Mr. Leonard? Because I have one more thing I want to say about you before we get to that.
Dave Leonard, we want to know, in your career, as you have been traveled much around this country and you've done the things that you've done, beside Will, would there be one artist overall that you would just like to pick their brain and hear how they started, what was their motivation and how they went about their business? One artist.
I would have to say Denzel Washington comes to me.
Okay.
You know, he's another one who I just respect so immensely. You know, he's so wise.
He's the same for me as well.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I've just watched, you know, some of his videos online and, you know, things that he speaks about. And I would just love to just, like, sit down for at least an hour and just have a coffee with him and just really pick his brain and you know, get some knowledge from him.
And the cool thing about Denzel is he's for the people.
Yeah.
He's going to give you the game.
Yeah.
He doesn't try to hide it.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk around it or go under it. He'll give you the game.
Yeah.
And he's going to encourage you, no matter what, to keep moving forward and do what you're doing and never give up.
Yeah.
I've watched this, and it's so cool to see people like him. I like him, Jim Carrey. There's a plethora of people that I love and that I listen to.
Yeah.
You know, as I walk in this entertainment and this speaking thing, and we have to pay attention because we don't have to try to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
It's right there.
Yes.
It's a wheel. Just push it.
Oh, I just thought of one other person who like completely froze me in my tracks. Cicely Tyson.
Oh,
Man.
did you see? Did you see Cicely Tyson
Yeah.
at Aretha Franklin's funeral?
My God.
Did you see that hat she had on?
That woman is amazing. She's like
She's
94.
yes,
Like, she's
and
amazing.
walking on her own, talking, kicking it, and man. And one thing I have to say this: Aretha Franklin, I love her, the Queen of Soul. God rest her. But I'm telling you, man, I can't sit in a funeral for 6 hours. And I wouldn't even sit in my own funeral for 6 hours. I'd be like this.
Yeah, I saw
Get me
a
up
bunch
out
of,
of here.
a bunch of
Man, look, I'm just saying, 6 hours.
there was a bunch of memes, of course,
Woo.
that went around after the funeral. I think the one that actually made me laugh the most was it said Aretha's funeral has been picked up for season 2. I was like, oh wow.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
But you know, but the way she lived her life, and even the way her funerals were,
Yeah.
it was spectacular.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It was a show.
Absolutely.
It was who she was.
It was fitting
and
for a queen,
it
yeah.
fitting for a queen.
Yeah.
One, she was even in there with her legs crossed.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's better than the guy standing up in the corner on a motorcycle or a bike. Have you ever seen those?
I have drinking a beer and the whole setup. They got a flat screen behind them and the whole nine.
His cousins.
Oh wow.
The other half of him.
Wow. Hey.
So Dave, so we talked about the music and who you look after and look up to. Something that you just did, something very significant. There's this little show, I'm sorry, this big show called The Shot.
Yes.
And you work for the production,
Right.
but you also just booked the role on the show.
Yep.
What was that like?
Oh man, it was amazing, man. It was a dream come true, and I know there are no small roles,
Mhm.
but I booked a what they call a day player role, which means you have a couple lines in a scene, but it was just great because I actually auditioned for a role last season
I
when I was
remember
working
it.
on the show, and Common ended up booking that role.
Hey,
but, hey,
come on.
Hey, I can't,
Comment.
I can't, he signs our checks, so I can't.
Exactly.
But nah, it was really cool, and I was definitely grateful to God, for just opening up that opportunity because I definitely like to stay active, and it's sometimes it's difficult because I work behind the scenes, but I also love to be on stage or be in front of the camera as well. So it definitely was a dream come true.
That's cool. Well, Dave, man, it's cool to sit down with you and chop it up. I want to see what the people want to say to you because you're an interesting guy, man. You're an interesting guy, and it's so funny. I used to always think you were so quiet until I got to hang out with you at this rooftop party. The man can party.
Yeah,
I was like,
I think that's the Virgo side of me a little bit.
When's your birthday?
September 16th.
My birthday is September the 9th.
Oh.
That's why we get along so
That's
well.
what's up. Absolutely. But nah, man, it's just one of those things where, like I said, growing up, I was, very shy, and I'm my mother's only child. I have 3 brothers and sisters. I actually just lost one of my
Yeah,
brothers.
condolences on that too,
Thank
brother.
you. But I have 3 brothers and a sister who are older from previous marriage. So we all share the same father. But I'm my mother's only child. So growing up, as an only child, I always had to find ways to entertain myself, and I'd be in the room talking to myself on my action figures, and creating little stories, and doing all types of things.
That's kind of like my buddy Corey Hendricks.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
him?
yeah.
Oh, this dude talks to himself all the
Yeah,
time.
I think I know
He's
that guy.
grown.
Yeah.
He's grown. He talks. No, but that's cool.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming out and sitting with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure, man. And I'm watching you and just looking at what you have coming next. And you and I have a lot of conversations, and I know something big is coming up this year.
Absolutely.
And I'm just looking forward to it. We're gonna have you on the show again. And you didn't drink any of your water.
Oh man, thank you, man. I was getting a little dry, so I'm glad you said something. But no, man, congrats to you both, man. I'm very, very proud of what you're doing with the show. Thanks for giving everybody a platform to be able to showcase what they're doing and their talents, and I'm really proud of you, bro.
And I appreciate you and everybody else showing us love. It's just one of those things where sometimes you have to get up and you have to go do it. And you can't keep waiting for people to give you the platform and give you the opportunity. You have to seize the moment.
Absolutely.
And you have to go after it and show people that you're worthy. And then it's so funny how people begin to attach to it and try to become a part of it. And that's great. But we have to give people a chance and understand that, hey, it's here for the taking. You just have to go get it.
Absolutely.
There you have it, people. Mr. David Leonard, actor, producer,
Location scout.
and we appreciate
Craft
you, man.
services.
Craft services. Oh, one last thing before he goes.
Yes.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
He does locations for the shot. So that means when he's always on set and doing things, so everybody's always looking to you for, hey Dave, where do we go next? Or where do we go here? When you got on set and you were there to film,
Yes.
what was it like? Did people come up to you asking you to do location work?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was funny. Like literally, like no lie, I showed up and one of our police officers, because we have police detail that works with us on set. I was standing there. This was during one of the takes, so I was standing there. They had me positioned outside to walk into the restaurant where we were filming the scene, and so I'm waiting for my cue from the assistant director to go in. And a police officer comes up behind me, and he's like, "Hey, you were locations, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm actually working in the scene." He was like, "Yeah, we need some paperwork for one of our officers. Can you help us out?"
Just disregarded the fact
right,
that you just told
I
him,
was like,
I'm live.
Yeah, I was
It's
like,
action.
I'm
I'm
actually
working.
working in the scene, but so I can't help you, but I can wave to somebody to come over. So that was actually funny that
That's when you should have politely told him to go to hell. I'm working. Yeah, I'm working.
yeah.
So thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.